How we doing, everyone? Hope you're all well. Now, if you're paying attention to the sport of mixed martial arts, then you've probably seen that two of the biggest stars in said sport are going back and forth on Twitter, talking a bit of shit. Of course, I'm talking about Conor McGregor and Jorge Gamebred Masvidal. If you know the history, these two were kind of linked to one another back in 2019. That was when Masvidal went on that crazy year, knocked out Darren Till, which shocked the world. No one saw that one coming. Knocks out Ben Askren in 5 seconds, sets the fastest knockout in the world record, and then beats down Nate Diaz. Around that time, I remember there was murmurs, whispers, rumours, potentially of McGregor and Masvidal fighting each other. Dana White kind of shut that down at the time, said that Masvidal was too big of a person. But still, now they're going back and forth, they're talking a bit of shit, and both guys, with the greatest of respect, need to get back in the win column. Masvidal lost his last 3, lost to Colby getting out wrestled, and then twice in a row to Kamaru Usman. No shame in that. For McGregor, again, he's lost 3 out of his last 4. He lost twice to Dustin Poirier, and he also lost to Khabib Nurmagomedov, the GOAT. No shame in those losses. Between those losses, though, he had a win against Donald Cerrone, who is somebody that Masvidal beat as well. So if you look at it on paper, these guys, it kind of makes sense. And when you look at the size of them, McGregor's 5'9", Masvidal 5'11". They've both got identical reaches, 74-inch reach. So this fight, there is a potential for this to be made. Now, Masvidal was talking about it. He did an interview, and here is the quote. He says, "There are options, but the first thing that matters to me is to be in the best condition of my life to improve the fight. Everyone knows that I can throw these hands, the kicks, the knees. People know that they can't beat me with their hands, so they have to throw me into the fight. It's something that I've trained and something that I'm trying to improve." Of course, he's talking about his takedown defense. You know, it is very frustrating when you're a striker and a guy just wants to wrestle, but that is our job as mixed martial artists to be able to stop that. Masvidal's recognized that. He's working on it. That's very open, very honest of him. Now, switches to McGregor. He says, "McGregor, he is false. He knows that I am a man who hits hard and that I come to kill. I do not come to hug in the cage," Masvidal said. "I am going to give everything inside me to kill him. I have a little size, although now he's shooting up and putting steroids and all kind of things in his body, but he's still a little boy. Ooh, I would love to fight at 170 pounds, but I don't wait for anyone. If he wants to do it, I'll break his face. If he doesn't want to do it, let someone come next." So, there it is. Interesting, powerful words from Jorge Masvidal. But let's be honest. Let's talk about this fight if it was to happen. I think it would be very competitive, to be quite honest. In 2019, Masvidal looked, something changed, something clicked. And I know he went on this reality TV show, he disappeared into the jungles, and he said that he did a lot of meditating and things like that. He had an epiphany of sorts, and he came out of there a different man, okay? And he certainly seemed like it. Now, of course, as I said, he struggled his last few. No shame, that's the way it goes. You fight the best people in the world, you're not always guaranteed to win. But on paper, these two are two of the biggest stars in the sport. Simple as that. McGregor is by far and large, without a question, with no competition, the biggest star. But Masvidal is the 3rd biggest contract. I believe it's Conor, Adesanya, if you listen to the press, and then Masvidal, again, if you listen to the press. I don't know the details of all 750 fighters. I don't know their contracts. But that's what the media tells us. So we'll just pay attention to that and we'll listen to it. So if you're on that kind of contract, then they want big fights. Now for McGregor, the fight that everyone wants to see, of course, is Nate Diaz, the trilogy, the rubber match. It has to happen, but will it happen? Doesn't seem like it. Maybe the UFC are holding out for that one, I don't know. But I heard that McGregor might not fight this year. If he doesn't fight this year, then Diaz has to fight someone. I've said this a million times, I'm just saying it for anyone that hasn't seen me say it. So, for whatever reason, that fight isn't being spoken of by either the UFC, by McGregor, or by Diaz anymore. Diaz is just trying to fight anybody. So for McGregor, who is the biggest fight that he could have? And in fact, Masvidal even said, he said, "Listen, hold on, let's have a look at the tweet. Here it is." He said, "This, P-Brain, is the biggest fight of your life. So you're either too scared or too stupid to come and get this check." Now, is it the biggest fight possible for Conor McGregor? Well, let's go through it, because as I said, the biggest one would be Nate Diaz. But let's just assume that that's not happening, because it looks like it's not happening. There has been talk about Conor wanting to fight Kamaru Usman. Again, I think that would be a bigger fight, but it's also a fight that I don't think is going to happen. Kamaru's going to fight Leon Edwards when Kamaru's hand heals up, and then who knows what happens after that? Who knows who wins? You know, so that isn't going to happen. It isn't going to happen anytime soon. I do believe the biggest fight, other than Diaz, the biggest fight right now for Conor McGregor would be against Charles Oliveira, the lightweight champion. Charles Oliveira, the most exciting fighter on the UFC roster right now. He is, without shadow of a doubt. And I think that would be the biggest fight for Conor McGregor. I mean, talk about that. Could you imagine what a story to go on the losing streak that he has, but then to come back and knock out Charles Oliveira, a man that's beaten Chandler, Gagey, Poirier. I mean, the storyline would just be absolutely sensational. And I don't care what you say. It's a fight that McGregor actually has a chance of winning. Of course he has a chance of winning, but it's a fight that he might even be the favourite in. You just don't know, because Charles Oliveira gets hit. Charles Oliveira gets dropped in almost every single one of his fights. That's what makes him such an exciting fighter. And as we know, Conor McGregor can hit. And Conor McGregor has a lot of power, you know. And Conor McGregor right now is the size of a goddamn bus.
Took a shit on the back of a bus.
So he might not be able to make 155 anytime soon. But we're talking about the biggest fights. So the biggest fight right now is Diaz or Oliveira. Outside of that, though, Jorge Masvidal. I agree. Jorge Masvidal would be an absolutely massive fight. Both guys fought and bounced between both weight divisions, lightweight and welterweight. Both guys are realistically blown up lightweights. Maybe not. Maybe Masvidal's bigger. Masvidal's 5'11", Conor's 5'9". They both got identical reaches. And Masvidal's been beaten before by lightweights. He's been beaten by a few of them. One in particular, Al Quinta. You're fucking booing me? You're fucking booing. You better not be fucking booing me.
Are you guys booing me?
I would never talk shit about Al Quinta, New York's fucking finest fucking real estate agent in the fucking game. I wouldn't do that. No, I have a lot of respect for him. He's a great fighter. Had some great wins. Had a good fight against Khabib Nurmagomedov. And he also beat Jorge Masvidal via split decision. Now, as we know, MMA math does not stack up. But Conor versus Al Quinta, I mean, that would be a very, very competitive fight. I don't know who would win that, but it could go either way. So the fact that Al Quinta beat Masvidal, you see where I'm going with this one. And I know MMA math doesn't stack up, but what it does, it demonstrates that this fight would not be a landslide on either side. It certainly shows, it certainly illustrates the fact that Masvidal wouldn't be far too big for Conor. And according to Masvidal, Conor's taking a lot of steroids, okay? Because he is bigger, right? So if the fight was to take place at 170, yes, Conor would be 2 inches shorter, but I think he would actually be the thicker, the more musclier guy right now. But anyway, there we go. I'm drifting, I'm rifting, I'm talking off the top of my head about this fight that, you know, I would love to see. I would pay to see this one. I would love to see it live. I'd certainly pay for it on pay-per-view. Will it happen? Let me know what you think down there in the comments. Let me know you think who would win this fight. Let me know if you think that I'm talking out my goddamn ass. Either way, thank you very much. I appreciate the support on the channel. Not going to say subscribe and ring the bell because I said I won't do that. But if you want to subscribe and ring the bell, I'm not going to stop you.